What's going on, everybody? It is a bit early, but I figured I'd do it now so I don't forget. This is the end of day review. Boy, was not a solid performance from me at the Open. Although there were a couple opportunities that I just straight up missed, like this AMC one here that we'll get into here shortly. That was a banger. I ended up being greed on AMC, but I had more opportunities to take it. And I let the fact that I had taken L's on other names negatively impact my conviction when it came to this name, which is, obviously AMC. Has nothing to do with Snap or Apple or Spy. Not really. So, why did I do that? Because I was being yep. Yeah. You already know. I was a punk. So, anyways, let's get started on what the plays were. 51.18, 50.89 for 55C on AMC. Said if she goes to break pre-market high, I'll take 55C for the breakout move. So, of course, she broke this pre-market high level, 55C. It was a real strong pop, actually. Got in there. Yep. So I got in here right around the 230 range, and I took some gains at about 260. I think my average is actually a little bit lower than that, because the pre-market level was pretty much like right here. So by the time I marketed in, I think I was in the high 220s. But regardless, I took gains at 260. I was stoked. It was a big chunky trade right at the gate. 10 contracts for about 30 cents. Really, really happy with that. Really, really happy. But here is actually, so keep in mind of this right here. This was a bottomed out play right here. Basically right exactly where we had our zone. You could have gotten 170 fills pretty consistently and taken this ride all the way up to 215, 214. So, good opportunity there. But as I said earlier, I ended up not taking it. Let's go take a look at the chart one more time. So, that is not it. So, we got right here. It doesn't get much better than this. Beautiful respect of the zone here. Like I said, you could have gotten 170 fills pretty consistently near the base of this, 175, whatever. And then it ran all the way up to 214 at its peak. You could have taken gains at 2 for a really, really easy move that gave you plenty of time to add shit. You could have taken, an add here, sold here, an add here, sold here. So it really just depends on how you wanted to play it. It gave another opportunity, albeit a small one, right here. And you can see that this zone ended up becoming like, a pretty impactful price range area for the remainder of the day. You can see that this move right here, this bounce off the zone was actually the propulsion for the move forward as it ended up climbing to new highs on the day. So how did I spot the zone? You come over here and you see lots of good flat tops, lots of good flat tops and confluence. Come take a look at the 1 hour, and you're getting, a more clear picture here. You can actually scroll all the way back, like always. Nothing has changed. Boom, boom, boom. Shit lines up. That's what you want to see, And then at that point, it's just finding the levels that line up, and then saying, okay, what's realistic? What's realistic? Is it realistic if, let's say we have some really clean levels down here? Is it realistic that it comes all the way down there and I get a bounce out of that? Well, in this case, the answer was yes, but you don't want to play that too low, or you're banking on a forfeiture of trend, which, generally speaking, constitutes a more difficult process of bouncing back up, kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage. So, pre-market high paid, this zone paid. Could have made this a much better move than I did. As you can see, we had the 200 SMA on the 5 and the 2. We had the 50 SMA on the 10. A lot of good confluence there. Obviously, you saw the 1 hour chart and the importance of these key levels through recent days price action. And this was actually moving pretty well despite what the SPY was doing. You can look at this 5-minute chart. Ski, beautiful. Love to see it. And then I actually ended up playing AMC short right here. I said on stream, as it forfeits this zone, I'm expecting, or as it was up here, I said I'm expecting a push through the zone, a visit to 50-50. Came a little lower than that. And then a retest of the zone where I'll take it short. And I ended up taking it short right up here. And having a little scalpy right there. That was done in trading chat, so if you want to go peep that, you can. That is AMC. So Apple was a loser today for me. That eventually did turn into a winner. I was able to get green on the name, but no thanks to the pre-market high that shook me out real bad. So I said Apple, I like the break of pre-market high only. If it goes to 150.79, I'll take 155C for the breakout move. And it did. It did, right? But it's easier to see on the 1 minute that when it did here, it you see this. So it popped up, I marketed it in, it wicked below, and I was like, shit, and I got out. And then it said skate and went to a beautiful high. So depending on, the stones you might have had, where your stop was or whatever, you could have turned this into an amazing trade. What did I say? 155C. Yep, 155C. So you could have gotten 76 to 86. Easy 10 cents. You could have taken 10, 20 contra. I mean, these are dirt cheap. Alternatively, you could have 155s might have been a little too expensive there. You could have probably taken 150s. For the pre-market high, yeah, that would have been about a 40-cent move. So it's all relative to how much you're willing to size based on the expense of the cost of the premiums. But I actually ended up getting stopped out on that, which was a straight bummer. Put this back on 2 minute. I hate the 1 minute chart. Yeah, I was very disappointed in that, considering that it was good opportunity and just bad execution. I followed my rules to the T of like the forfeiture of pre-market high. I'm out, but it still spanked me a little bit there. So let me go find, before I move on to the next one, I want to find the Apple play. Okay, so at 8:59, which would have been 9:59 Eastern, so right here in this range. So 8:59, I said below 149.72 has flush potential. So right here. 149.72 has flush potential. Close enough. And I said I'm averaging into puts right here in this range. So I ended up calling it right up here. And then as it pushed down into this range, I said I'm averaging into puts right here. It came up, gave an even better opportunity for cheaper puts, and then it dumped. And then it continued to dump, and it came all the way down to here for what ended up being over a 30-cent move. And that was what ended up saving my day after the Apple fake out at the gate and the trade we're about to talk about, SPY. So I ended up green on the day thanks to the AMC run and some good puts here. And based on, kind of how back and forth the day went, and everybody seemed to be giving me the same, the same info, like, oh man, it's kind of choppy out here today. I was like, you know what? I think that we'll leave it at that. So we did, or I did rather. But yeah. So this is no zone here. I was playing only pre-market high. You can see here that, it's the pre-market high. Not really a whole lot to talk about that. Why did I decide that this would be the flush point, right? What made me think of that? Well, you see here you had lots of flat bottoms. You can look at the 1 hour chart, and you had, you had some clear, definitive tops right here. Right. Sorry. Where am I? Oh yeah, right here. So you had some clean levels here, but mostly it was just a play based off the 10. You could see that on the 10 at 173 you had, or 149.73. Let's go back, see if we can figure out where it was. I butchered everything. Sometimes I just think that I remember where I made my lines, but I don't. Okay, so why did we decide this is the flush point? Well, you can see on the 2 minute chart that it was giving us a whole lot of multiple touches here. Basically, it was a double bottom, triple bottom for that bounce. So if that, support level that was being formed did cave, you were in for good shape. Now look at this. All the way across, that specific price line ended up being mega impactful. You can see right here on the 10, you had almost a double respect here. The 50 was helping it. But then over here, you're looking at the 50 trading above where we're at. And sure enough, it pushed down pretty well. SPY beat my ass. No two ways about it. I was stoked for the potential on SPY, and man, Didn't give pre-market high. Didn't give pullback zone. Like, it just did not work. And, you know, that is my fault. Sometimes that just happens. And, you know, I always like to look at these after that happens and say, okay, what could I have done better? Why was it so bad? If you do hear some background noise, I apologize. Our washing machine is going ape shit. Yeah, so right here we have pre-market high ended up getting to right there, right before the open, which is always a bad sign. You hate to see these gap ups. I was hoping that it would kind of sell off a bit, end up down here, respect these indicators, and just scoop, but it didn't. Alternatively, you want to see, you know, a red candle and then a rocket past pre-market high. I waited to pull the trigger on pre-market high because it was like kind of up and down and up and down, and eventually didn't give it to us. I averaged in right up here. On stream, it pulled up green to this 50, and I said, I probably should take profit here, but I don't want to. And then I was immediately stopped out. It was like 3 or 4 cents at that point. I think I lost 10 cents total on the trade. I mean, the contracts are not crazy expensive. Stop was tight. So the risk to reward here was really, really good, especially given the fact that, like, had it popped, given that it's SPY, it could have pulled the whole market with it. It could have popped over this. And, you know, when SPY trends one direction, it really likes to trend that direction for the entire day. As you can see, it trended down. And then right before the bell, yeah, about an hour before the bell, you saw this the surge as it tried to get back up to the previous levels before it closed. So yeah, SPY was a dumpster fire. No two ways about it. What? Oh, sorry, I was reading. Discord message spooked me. So how did I get these zones? All right, so this one is actually pretty self-explanatory. You got the bottom of consolidation range here, confluence with indicators. Top is these peaks right here that were obviously key levels in pre-market. You come back and you see multiple touches, bodies, multiple bodies and touches. Again, always go look at the 1 hour. What the fuck is that? Must be some Weeble nonsense. Anyway, you come look at the 1 hour. You see good lines across. Come all the way over here to the last dips that we had. Boom, boom, boom. Now, one thing that's worth mentioning is look at this SPY pattern on the daily. Rally, 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 dips, you know, usually on Fed news or some nonsense, and then rally, rally, rallies again. So, you know, this is actually a divergence candle printed. You know, I got some optimism that if SPY can trade somewhere around here above this range tomorrow, above this 448 to 20 to 447.94, you know, like up here within this area, then we could be looking at a really strong, you know, action tomorrow. But keep in mind, we do have the CPI, the Consumer Price Index data that comes out tomorrow that could have a lot to say about inflation and about Fed potentially rolling out the bonds or tapering off their bond purchases sooner than later, both of which could be very, very negative impact on the market as a whole. Snap, I don't think anybody actually took this. If you did, I am so sorry. I could not have been more off. So I actually on stream was like, I need a fourth one. Let's do Snap. Looks like it's got potential. And it immediately tanked. I didn't even get into it because it tanked so quickly. So I apologize if you took this. Instead of taking NVIDIA, which matched all my criteria way better, I was just in a rush. And look at this NVIDIA move you could have taken off pre-market high. Shit. Gorgeous move. Instead, it ate as much shit as you could possibly eat. So, really disappointed in that one. Let's take a look at it, though. Oh, wait, this is the wrong ticker. So, I said 755.55, 75.55, 75.30. You can see here that, you know, why I thought that. It was, you know, it met all the criteria as well, but the issue with this was up on really light volume. So, you know, it's got confluence with indicators. It's trading above the 200. It's trading above the majority of yesterday's price action. Man, it just didn't work, right? It was trending up overall. I mean, a lot of good things going for it, but you look and you see, okay, it's up, but it's up on nearly no volume. That means these candles are made up of just a handful of people. And it's easy to get faked out on stuff like that because as soon as meaningful volume comes in, like this shit doesn't even matter. If there's not enough volume here to set a definitive range of price and pattern, then the first instance of decent volume is going to decide whether it goes up or down. And unfortunately, on that coin flip, which, as you know, I try to avoid coin flip odds. As you can see on this coin flip, I was on the wrong side of it, and that sucks. Fortunately, I didn't trade it, but I hate throwing plays out there. It's embarrassing, especially when Nvidia and all those other things matched my setup. And I know for a fact that I was just in a rush trying to figure out a fourth play. Realizing that it was a little bit later than I thought because I spent too much time looking at some other stuff. So, that is that for today, man. Not a pretty green day at all. It's one of those days where you should almost consider it red, or I do. I feel like I got beat today. We had a couple of good ones that saved me, but if that Apple put had gone against me, I'm red on the day, right? Like, it all came down to just that one going up or down. Of course, I had my reasons and stuff like that to believe that it was a good trade, but, there's a difference between one trade or two trades. And that's fine on a day where you take one good trade and you're like, I'm going to call it there. But when you're taking a trade almost out of desperation, just to kind of make something, it could have very easily been a red day. So, with that, bounce back. Keep in mind, tomorrow might not be better. It might be worse. It might be the same. It could be better. Who knows? But I think that towards the end of the week, we'll start to see a strong recovery based on, the news and all that stuff kind of reacting to. Apple is one thing worth watching. I mean, they're currently, Apple's in a weird spot because Apple is, currently dealing with the results of a lawsuit, but at the same time, they have an event coming up. So it's like, I really don't know what to think about that. The lawsuit's not that big a deal. It ended up being, very neutral, a little bit against Apple. But of course, the news reacted in the way that it did. And it's put Apple into kind of like almost this downward pattern, which makes it a little bit harder to play because you think of all the traders out there who are playing the pattern. So you're kind of working against it a little bit, but we'll continue to look at these things that have news or events or what have you, coming up, and we'll figure out what the best play is. So hopefully I see you guys tomorrow and we have a much better day than we did today. Be well, homies.